Hey Saints, welcome back to another week of SFHS Today. I'm Devin.
And I'm Alyssa. In national news this past week, National Security Advisor Michael Flynn resigned on Monday. In his resignation letter, he wrote, "Unfortunately, because of the fast pace of events, I inadvertently briefed the Vice President-elect and others with incomplete information regarding my phone calls with the Russian ambassador. I have sincerely apologized to the President and the Vice President, and they have accepted my apology."
President Trump continued to work on foreign relations, hosting Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe over the weekend.
On Wednesday, he met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House to discuss solutions to Israeli-Palestinian conflicts over the West Bank. And last Tuesday was Valentine's Day, and we aren't the only ones who celebrated it.
Let's go to Misty and Rianne, who talked to our staff members, Nastia and Sarah, about how they celebrate Valentine's Day in their countries.
In Ukraine, we call it День закоханих, and in English it means Day of people who felt in love, I guess.
In Italian, it's San Valentino. It means San Valentine. In Italy, San Valentine's Day is only for couples, so it's very similar to Ukrainian San Valentine's Day.
My favorite Saint Valentine's Day memory is when I had a practice and my boyfriend came up like all dressed up in a costume, and he just took me from my dancing practice, and we ended up at the door of the dance studio, and there was a bunch of people with white roses, and they all came up to me, and I got like a huge bouquet of those white roses. That was very sweet of him. So American way of celebrating St. Valentine's Day is kind of different from Ukrainian, because I would never say my friends that I love them, or say my best friend that they're the best. Oh my gosh, here's the Valentine card for you. So I would just celebrate it with my boyfriend or with the person I love, and my parents would just have a dinner together or whatever. And yeah, it's kind of different over here because everybody's like, crazy, here's your Valentine card, I love you, and stuff.
Carnations were distributed this past Tuesday to students. Lauren followed student council in their journey to handing them out.
Okay, so to get the flowers, we had to go around and talk about what kind of prices we want, what kind of flowers people want, and what kind of vases they want. So it really depends on, we really want your guys' feedback on if you liked carnations or if we should stick with roses and different color ideas.
There are ups and downs to Valentine's Day, and Tanner went out to get the top worst Valentine's Day gifts, while Katie got people's ideas for the best dates.
I got you a flower crown for Valentine's Day. Do you like it? Do you like it? Do you like it?
These are fake.
Hey, I got a pizza for us for Valentine's Day.
Oh, thanks.
I kind of ate it all though on the way here. Is that okay?
Look how much I love you. Hey, I got you a Valentine's card.
Who's Bonquisha?
Yeah, that's...
What's your ideal Valentine's date?
Probably just staying at home watching a movie and getting some food.
My ideal Valentine's date would be me coming home from like a day of shopping, and my husband would have our whole apartment cleaned. He'd have dinner made for me, and he would just serve for whatever I wanted throughout the whole day. And then just relaxing with him would be my ideal Valentine's Day.
Hanging out with my boyfriend and going to a movie.
Ordering pizza and watching Disney movies.
Even though Valentine's Day is about being close with your significant other, don't get too close because it's flu season.
There has been a lot of school absences recently due to the flu. Let's see what Nurse Holly Coy has to say about the symptoms and treatments for the flu.
We have been seeing an increase in the number of students who have been diagnosed with influenza, and also students who have symptoms that are consistent with influenza.
Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had strep. I had a fever and I was throwing up and coughing. My strep lasted for like 1.5 weeks.
Influenza is actually a virus that attacks your nose, your lungs, your throat. A lot of times people refer to the flu as the stomach flu, but this is definitely different than that. What the symptoms of influenza is a fever, a cough or sore throat, body aches, extreme tiredness. And it's really important that if you have any of those symptoms that you stay home so we're not spreading germs around the school. We ask that students with a fever stay home for 24 hours after they're fever-free. And we have been seeing, like I had mentioned, an increase in those symptoms over the last couple of weeks. If you have any questions about influenza, you can always stop up in the health office. It's not too late to get your flu vaccine. If you have not had influenza this year, it will still protect you from influenza, so I would suggest that everybody get it. Also, another way to prevent the spread of influenza is to make sure you wash your hands. And as I mentioned earlier, make sure that if you have a fever that you stay home and don't expose yourself to others.
Thanks, Sarah and Nastia, for that great information on how to prevent getting sick.
On another note, many new signs and posters have gone up in our hallways. One that stood out to our staff was the Science Club posters.
Genuine and Ben went out to talk to Mrs. Dobson and Mr. Graves to get more information about the new Science Club.
All right, well, it's a club for students that are interested in learning about science careers, possibly doing some extra science activities that you wouldn't normally do in class.
Hopefully next year's science fair as well. It'll be fun.
Right, and a possible trip outside of Minnesota next summer to be determined. We have a organizational meeting that we will determine when we're going to meet and kind of what we're going to do. So if you're interested, when you see this recording, talk to one of us and we can let you know on what days we're going to meet and what the next activity will be for the Science Club.
Really, I think it's going to be more student-driven right now, just because most of the activities are going to be student-based. There's whatever activities and science, I guess, experiments they want to do.
Plus, we want to get some exposure from scientists and professionals in the field in here with our students, so they can come in and talk to the kids about what they do for their jobs and careers, and possibly get the students to go to some labs as well.
So tonight's meeting is just kind of to get an idea of what people want to do, and so we don't even know if they're going to be Wednesdays for sure. It kind of depends on what the people who show up when they're busy. And so some of the ideas we have for things to do are maybe to go on some field trips, maybe to do some kind of science fair projects or experiments in labs.
Bring in some guest speakers.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that's going to be kind of up to the students. We've got some ideas. We've got, like Ms. Dobson said, an idea for maybe some science fair research projects for next year. Maybe some additional experiments that the kids can do this year that we don't necessarily get to in classes. There's a possibility that some of our science instructors might come in and talk to the students about what their interests are, which may not be what they teach. Possibly an observation night for some stargazing.
A science night.
Yeah, science fair type night. Yeah.
Even outside of Minnesota, different things, areas we can go to to see things that we wouldn't normally be able to see.
The fun part about this is the students are going to be able to really control where this thing goes.
Thanks, guys. If Tuesday was a day for love, today is a day for random acts of kindness.
Many people are participating in it, but let's go to Austin and Chi, who figured out what this day means to some of our staff here at SFHS.
Tell me a little bit about Random Acts of Kindness Day.
All right, well, it is today, and it's a really easy day to participate in. Random Acts of Kindness is really just doing something nice for someone else, someone that you might know, someone that you might not know. It could be in school, it could be the community, and it's also something that you can do every day and not just on today.
So what's a random act of kindness you have experienced?
I was walking with one of my students, and another student came over and helped open the door for the student and I.
Something nice about today is that we can kind of build people up, and making them feel good can really help cut some of these things that people are dealing with that we're just not even aware of. And so as a counseling department, we really want to take this day to heart because it's something, like I said, we can do every day, and it is a positive feeling. It's a ripple effect.
Yeah, I've actually paid for the ladies' caribou behind me, and also whenever we meet with students and parents, I've gotten several thank you notes, and that always makes my day.
One of the things that I do is help sponsor the Salvation Army Angel Tree every December. It gives staff, students, and organization an opportunity to adopt a child in need and make the holidays a very pleasant and happy experience for them.
When I do something positive for you, you're going to be more inclined to do something positive for the next student, and onward and onward. And so that's where Random Acts of Kindness Day can really be a benefit to our school as a community.
Thanks, Chi and Austin. Looking into opportunities for students to get involved, we have an SFHS alumni who participated in the Minnesota Girls State and is now involved in another way.
Tyler and Bree talked to SFHS alumni Amelia Tesdahl about her involvement in it and how current juniors could get involved in Girls or Boys State this summer.
Minnesota Girls State is a program that's put on by the American Legion Auxiliary for girls who have just completed their junior year of high school. And basically, you spend a week at Bethel University learning about the American government system. And you learn about it by means of doing it. So when you get to Girls State, we'll elect city officials like a mayor, city clerk, city treasurer, and you'll elect county officials, and you'll eventually end up electing state officials. And you get to run your fictional Minnesota American Legion Girls State as you would any other state. That's really how we encourage you to learn about government. I was involved with Girls State after I finished my junior year of high school. It was an absolute blast. I already had kind of an interest in how government worked. And so being there for that week really forced me outside of my comfort zone because there were 350 some girls that were just like me. And so I learned how to stand up for myself and make a voice for myself and really be confident in what I have to offer. And it was really quite life-changing, and I'm still friends with some of the girls that I went with. So now I'm involved with Minnesota American Legion Girls State as their music director. I work with a choir, like a volunteer choir. The girls that want to show up during their free time during the day come and work with me, and we put together a set of about 3 songs during the week. And also as a large group, we'll sing like assorted songs. We sing the Girls State song, which is super fun and something you won't forget. And so, yeah, that's how I'm involved in that capacity right now, and it's so rewarding. For me, being involved in Girls State gave me more of a sense of self and how to advocate and present myself in front of other human beings, which is something that I think is so important going on beyond high school into college and whatever you choose to immerse yourself in after high school. It's really given me the tools to speak and think critically and be able to participate now in the government system that we are so fortunate to have a voice in. So I've really been so fortunate to pick up those tools by going to Minnesota American Legion Girls State.
In arts news, one act performs at the Guthrie Theater on Monday at 10:40. Bridge Street Singers competed in Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, and took 3rd place. Prima Voce JV Show Choir has its inaugural competition this Saturday at Waconia.
This week, SFHS hosted the Region 7 AA Music Contest. Wind Ensemble earned a superior rating, which is the highest rating possible. Katie Bjork performed and got the story.
what pieces did you perform?
We performed 3 pieces, so Awesome, Downey's Fanfare, and Vesuvius.
And how do you think the performance went?
I don't think it was our best. We had a few hiccups here and there in Vesuvius, but it was pretty solid.
Well, that's all we have for you this week.
Stay tuned for weather, sports, and the random question thing.
It's the random.